201. So here's our polynomial, x squared minus 6x minus 16. If I asked you to factor it, you would say it is what multiplies to negative 16 and adds to negative 6? Negative 8 and positive 2. Okay? I'm not going to worry about these ones. I just want to look at this one. Okay, if I gave you this polynomial, just look at this bit right here. X squared plus 0x plus 16. So normally we would say what multiplies to negative 16 and adds to 0. What multiplies to negative, let's do the factors of 16. 1 and 16. Can I make that go to 0 by adding them somehow? No. 2 and 8. Can I make that go to 0? 4 and 4. If I make one of the 4s negative, I can, right? So this would factor to x plus 4, x minus 4. Does that make sense? That lines up with everything we've been doing. We look to see what multiplies to this number, so negative 4 and negative 4, and adds to that number. 4 plus negative 4 is 0. Okay? Thing is, nobody ever writes it this way, because nobody's going to put in a 0x. All right? They always write it this way. These are the same things. Everybody agree with that? Because 0 times anything is 0, so you don't even have to write that. So x squared minus 16. If I just give you this, all you need to do is look at this back number, this n number, and say, what's the square root of that number? 4, right? And one of them is positive and one of them is negative. This is called a difference of squares. Yeah, I talked about this earlier. When you see two numbers separated by a minus sign, it's a what? Always think difference of squares. And I will sum this up in a table tomorrow for you. So if we go to this one right here, we have two terms separated by a minus sign. Can you square root? You have to be able to square root both terms. So can you square root x squared? You probably aren't used to thinking like that, but I will tell you right now, if you take the square root of x squared, you get x. Okay? So you will get two brackets. The first term is always x because x times x is x squared. All right? What's the square root of 9? 3. So there's your end. When you're doing a difference of squares, one of the brackets has to be positive, one has to be negative because they have to add to 0. Okay? So it doesn't matter which one you make positive and which one you make negative. And that's it. Whenever you see two terms separated by a minus sign, basically just square root each term, put them in the brackets, make one plus, one subtraction, and you're done. So, two terms separated by a minus sign. What's the square root of 49? 7. Or what multiplies to 49? 7 and 7. And then one has to be positive, one has to be negative. That's the difference of squares. Difference of squares factoring is super easy when you recognize it. It's all about recognizing it, okay? So it's all about when you see two terms separated by a minus sign, not an addition. If I said x squared plus, I'll just use the same numbers, 49, can you factor it like this? Does this look like that? It has to be minus. Okay, if it's addition, you can't do anything with it. You just leave it. All right? So what about 3? What would it factor to? X plus 6, x minus 6. What about 5? 10. A plus 10. A minus 10. And what about 4? When it's 1, it's plus 1, x minus 1. That's difference of squares. That's it. That's all it is. Are there any questions? Has to be a subtraction sign, though. Okay? Number 1 and 2, please, peoples. So what are the brackets? X minus y, x plus y. Because you're asking yourself what multiplies to give you y squared. It's negative y and y. Is that okay? And then D is like, I forget which question it was in number 2. P squared minus 7 squared. It's like the 15 squared one that you saw. Some people probably did this, which is fine. 7 squared is 49. And then you went, what's the square root of 49? 7. So then you work backwards. But that's okay. It doesn't matter. All I care about is that you get the right answer. Is that okay? You ready for the next layer? It's like a triple layer Black Forest frosted candy cake with gummy bears in it. I don't know. I just made that up in my head. Gummy bears in a cake? Wouldn't that be good? No! You put candies in it.
But then it's still a cake. You don't have to rename it.
It's a candy cake, though. This is all being recorded, so you can listen to it later on. Now I'm confused. 203, please. Actually, what is the best type of cake?
Cheesecake.
Oh, cheesecake's good.
Yes, cheesecake.
Ice cream cake?
Ice cream cake is pretty good. Like Dairy Queen.
What about angel food cake? Who prefers cake over pie? Ooh. Who are the cake people? Who are the pie people? What's the best type of pie? Pumpkin does not count because it's gross. The only acceptable answer for the best type of pie is lemon meringue.
Oh.
That's the best kind of pie.
Apple pie with ice cream is actually a close second. Strawberry rhubarb, too. That's good. Really, all pie, except for pumpkin. Just throw that one out. Unless you put buckets of whipped cream on it, then it's okay. And so it doesn't even taste like apple pie or pumpkin pie, just like whipped cream. I have not stopped the recording, so if you need to listen to this conversation later on tonight, it will be on the interweb. All right. We are getting sidetracked in our mathematical pursuits here. Page 203, please. Here we go. All right. So now we're adding the next layer. Ashley, what's the best type of icing?
Oh my God.
Like buttercream icing? Cream cheese is good too. Who's a chocolate or vanilla person?
Vanilla.
For icing, I prefer.
I don't either.
Actually, does it really matter?
Yeah.
I once made icing, and then to make it healthy, put protein powder in it. That was my healthy icing. We're getting way down a bad road here. Okay. Refocus, people. But what are we doing? Difference of squares. Okay. What's wrong with this thing? Not what's wrong with it. Why does it look? It's got a 16. Why do we have 16? But here is the question. Can you square root 16?
Yeah.
Can you square root t squared?
Yeah.
Can you square root 49?
Yeah.
Is it a difference of squares?
Okay. Yeah.
Because all you got to do, two terms separated by a minus sign. If you can square root everything, you're good. So all you have to do is go two brackets. What goes in the front of each bracket? T. There's a T and a 4. Because, whoops. What's 4t times 4t? 16t squared. What goes at the back of the brackets?
7.
And then you just have to make plus and a minus. That's it. So what about B? Can you square root 81?
Yes.
Can you square root a squared?
Yes.
Can you square root 1?
Yes.
So what does it factor to?
9a plus 1, 9a minus 1.
That's it. What'd they do to C? They wrote it backwards. Does it matter?
No.
Can you square root 100? Can you square root y squared? So what's the answer?
Y plus 10
Uh,
minus 10.
You have to go in the order that they have there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Wait.
So you just have to write it like that. So you just square root the 10. So the number goes first and the variable goes second. That's the only difference. D. Can you square root 36? Can you square root p squared? Can you square root 25? Can you square root q squared? So what do you get? 6p. What about E?
No.
Why? You can square root everything, but it's not a subtraction. Therefore, it's not a difference of squares. So just say nope. Nope. F. Can you square root 64?
Yes.
Can you square root 9?
Yes.
Can you square root an a squared and a b squared? So square root of 64 is 8. Square root of 9 is 3. And to get a squared b squared, it would just be 3ab. So the other bracket matches that. And then you make one positive and one negative, and you're done. Yes?
Does it matter which side the plus and the minus go on?
Nope. Just like it doesn't matter which bracket goes first. Exact same thing. It doesn't matter if you write the negative one first, like, well, in this one I did. I wrote the negative here, and then the positive or the positive and negative. That does not matter. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are we positive? All right. I would like you to do number 4. You can do all of 4. Please, 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 please. Please do